For disturbing new house horror stories, moving into a new home is supposed to be a fresh start, a place to build memories, find peace, and claim as your own. But what happens when the house you thought was yours still belongs to someone else in their mind? These 4 true accounts unravel the unsettling truth that a home's past can linger through cryptic visitors, hidden secrets, unexplained disturbances, or neighbors who know too much. Each story will pull you deeper into the shadows of what should be safe spaces. So, lock your doors, check your windows, and listen closely. Because safety, as these homeowners learned, is sometimes just a story we tell ourselves. Story 1. The Man at 11 p.m. The clock ticked past 11 p.m. and the house was too quiet for a place I just moved into. I'm no stranger to strange cases. My desk at the legal aid office has seen its share of stalking files. But nothing prepared me for what my new doorbell camera captured. The next day, during my lunch break at work, I checked the feed. A motion alert had pinged. There, inches from the lens, was a man. Bowl cap pulled low, collar turned up. His face a shadowed blur. He didn't knock or ring the bell. He just stared into the camera, unblinking, for several agonizing seconds before stepping away. As he passed under the porch light, the microphone caught a muffled whisper. Did she forgive me yet? I froze, sandwich halfway to my mouth. I replayed it 3 times, straining to hear. He hadn't said, "Did you forgive me?" It was, "She forgive me." My mind raced. Who was she? A former tenant, a ghost in his head. That night, I brewed tea, locked every door, and wedged a chair under the front knob. I told myself he'd mistaken the address. Stalkers follow patterns, not random houses. But my pulse didn't believe me. 2 nights passed in silence. Then, just past 11 p.m., the doorbell chimed again. Heart hammering, I spoke to the door's intercom. "You've got the wrong house." His reply was calm, almost familiar, like we were old friends. Mid-conversation, she always let me in. She said I could come back if I got better. The knob turned, slightly not forced, just tested. That soft metal scrape sent my nerves electric. I grabbed my phone, dialed 911, and kept my voice steady, the way I'd coached clients. "There's a man outside trying my door," I told the dispatcher. "He's talking about the previous tenant." The operator asked if he was armed. I hadn't seen a weapon, but I couldn't bring myself to check the peephole. "He's moving," I whispered as heavy steps thudded across the porch, then faded. Silence. The dispatcher kept me on the line. I peeked at the live feed, nothing. Then another motion alert. Terre was standing on the sidewalk, staring up at my bedroom windows. Police arrived 5 minutes later. Was gone. They took my statement, logged the footage, and promised to patrol. Sleep didn't come that night. The next morning, in the basement doing laundry, I noticed the utility closet door ajar. The home inspector had called it access piping, nothing to see. But under an old rag, I found a pillowcase. Inside, travel-sized toiletries, a cracked flip phone, and a sticky note scrawled with "Back at 11 p.m. My stomach twisted. Whoever she was, young Lorraine, someone else he hadn't just visited. He'd lived here, maybe squatting in the shadows. I called the officers back, handed over the evidence. The detective frowned, flipping the pillowcase inside out. Squatters sometimes use basements like this. Could be old, could be him. "Is he still around?" I asked. He shrugged. "Change your locks again. We'll keep an eye out." I did, but new locks didn't erase the feeling that I was the intruder. For 2 weeks, the nights were quiet, but I checked the clock compulsively around 11 p.m., waiting. Then, one Friday, reviewing case notes in bed, the doorbell chimed at 11:17 p.m. My laptop nearly hit the floor. The live feed showed only the porch light then, a blur of motion. I hit the floodlight switch on the app. The yard blazed white, catching the back of his jacket as he sprinted away, hat tumbling off. He never returned. The police later said the phone was dead, no SIM card, no leads in their database. Probably an old squatter, they concluded. He moved into his comfort zone. But it wasn't just his zone. In his mind, this was still his house. 3 years later, I still live here. I've added door alarms, moved my bed from the front windows, and set a nightly phone reminder to check locks and curtains. The mail slot clacks, sometimes with junk flyers, and I brace for that handwriting. It hasn't shown up, but I forward stray letters to the precinct. Safety isn't just locks. It's knowing someone out there still believes they belong inside. Story 2. The Hidden Key. In the shed I bought the 3-bedroom ranch for its bones, not its looks. Ugly 1970s tile, cabinets worn from years of microwaved dinners, but a solid slab foundation. My wife called Demolition Day my new hobby, and she wasn't wrong. That first Saturday, I dove in like it was a crime. Seen vacuum for dust, tape for evidence. Every screw bagged and labeled. Years on the force made me meticulous. By noon, the kitchen was gutted, promising. Kneeling to pry off a baseboard, I heard a clink. Not a screw, but a small brass key, taped under the kick plate in a layer of grease and sawdust. No label, just a blank tag loop. People hide things cash keys. Secret but. This felt wrong. I left it on the counter, but it nagged at me through dinner. Another mystery solved. Detective, my wife teased. Maybe, I said, or someone else's secret. The next morning, I couldn't let it go. The backyard was a jungle of cane and weeds, endless and wild. I'd walked it before closing but missed the rusted tin shed buried in the far corner. A padlock hung on the latch, stiff with age. The key fit perfectly, popping it open like it had been waiting. Inside, dust swirled in my flashlight's beam, and a faint plastic smell hit me. 3 Rubbermaid totes lined the floor. The first held children's shoes, not pairs, just singles. A pink sandal, a muddy sneaker, a boot with a peeling glitter star. All different sizes. The second tote was stuffed with photos interiors of houses, not mine. Kitchens, basements, hallways, some with stuffed animals in the frame. Notes scrawled on the back. Closet door, same layout. Move mirror. The third tote stopped my breath. A duffel bag of hospital IDs, all from the same hospital, different names, but every single one with the same face. I zipped it shut, backed out, and locked the shed. Training kicked and secured the scene, but I wasn't on duty. I snapped photos, called a patrol buddy, and we went through it again, recording video, lifting the duffel. A new ID slid out, clean, laminated, no photo, just my street name in Sharpie. I hadn't seen it before. You plant this to skip paperwork? My friend half joked. I didn't laugh. Detectives took over, logging everything. No, the previous owner. They asked. They found the IDs were counterfeit, printed on stolen hospital blanks from years ago. No fingerprints, no matching cases. A dead end, filed as miscellaneous recovered property. A month later, I checked the shed. The lock was cut. The floor swept unnaturally clean, like someone erased their tracks. I welded the door shut that day, my friend holding the flashlight as I sealed it. Over coffee that night, he asked. I think they came back for it. I stared into the dark field. I think they never left. We upgraded lights, added alarms, and a trail cam. The footage stayed clear, and I stopped checking. My wife pushed for gravel and planters to bury the shed scars. Oleander bloomed along the fence, but that corner still feels like